In today's episode of the Pathway Presents podcast, I have an interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Lacey Miller, and she's hailing over from the folks over at LoudCrowd. And today you're doing great work with the influencers. If you want to drive more customer content with the power of micro influencers out there, then you should listen up because this is a very, very interesting approach, right? There's a lot of ways to try to capture the big influencers, but maybe it's way, way smarter to go the other way around to distribute across many different influencers out there. So let's talk about that today with Lacey. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting. And, the interest for me is kind of in what y'all do as well. I just did my biggest marketing meeting of the year. We reviewed everything that marketing had done, all the tactics, the metrics, the goals we had met. And one of the things we discussed was how our website converts. And so one of the numbers that I've clung to was that, the best in class websites will convert 5% of your visitors. So I'm always telling people that we are going after a huge audience, because we are going to have 95% who just come to read and look.
Yeah.
And so that's a number that we look at, and that's a metric that we kind of measure every day. And that lends itself well to what LoudCrowd does kind of for our customers, just on the social media side, right? Especially when we talk about influencer, micro influencer, we really love to discuss the authenticity of user generated content and kind of that audience of your customers where you can get the UGC from is exponential compared to some of the bigger influencers. So we also similarly are kind of saying, here's a better way to get people to convert through social media. It's a more focused way. It's a more authentic way. And, we're speaking the same language over here.
That makes sense. Now, for the people who haven't heard about LoudCrowd, maybe give them like a 1 or 2 sentence overview, sort of how you guys achieve that. How do you guys work with the micro influencers, and maybe which types of organizations actually would benefit sort of most or currently benefiting most from LoudCrowd?
So I'll start with kind of the organizations. We work with big brands. So whether like retail brands, business to consumer type brands, the Nikes of the world or Boohoo Group, kind of the people who are focused on the end consumer. And from there, we our big value prop is, when you talk about marketing technologies, you start to ask people to measure something maybe they hadn't measured before, or to build a program maybe they hadn't had before. And so we are all about automating that and scaling that so that if you build a new ambassador program for your launch, your women's line, your kids line, we're not saying, hey, here's a new metric for you to check out, and we're adding a pile of work to you. We're saying LoudCrowd takes on all that work for you so that you can just kind of come in and focus on the end goal. And that's growing your business, growing your brand awareness, growing your revenue, getting new products to market, whatever it may be. And so we're kind of automate, scale, and then we're all about saving money. We did an evaluation of our top 80 clients, and I think we've saved them about $300 million in influencer cost, right? That's money that now maybe they're spending giving discounts to their customers, rewarding their customers for posting about them, talking about them. So instead of asking an influencer for one big post, they're asking their hundreds, thousands of customers for kind of these micro posts, right, with your micro audiences. And then giving them access to early product launches or a discount on their next purchase, or free swag. Like, I think it's a lot of fun to kind of see how brands are engaging on the customer side of things, because we think that's the most important thing for brands to do as they grow.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, what came to mind first when we learned about what you guys is, a lot of big influencers have a lot of followers, but maybe the engagement actually might be not that large. Maybe there might be a small core group that is engaging a lot, but when you have a lot of small influencers, they typically tend to have a very strong engagement, right? Even it's a smaller circle that they reach, but that multiplies. So, is that something that you've observed as well? Like, how does it, compare in terms of engagement?
I think in marketing, we always talk about lookalike audiences, right? Like, how are we going to find a lookalike audience? We know Lacey Miller in Austin, Texas is a huge brand proponent and loves to talk about us, but how do we find more Lacey Millers? And so that's where kind of when you have a mega influencer, like say a Kim Kardashian, you have thousands of reasons people are following her. Maybe she has a million followers, but there's a TV show, there's a product, there's her boyfriend, right? There's a lot of different pieces. But when you have a lot of Lacey Millers who have 600 followers, who are also moms, also parents, also working, you know, like lookalike audience, it's a much stronger engagement and it's a much stronger audience growth. And so you're going to get more from 100 of me, 1,000 of me, than you would from kind of one big influencer push. And I think, you know, one thing, once again, as a marketer, I'm always reviewing what's worked. And I think we know that you have to change it up and you have to experiment. I can't just run the same Google ad and think that it's going to bring in the same amount of people. And so the same kind of goes with influencer marketing. It is growing to a $16 billion market, but you have to evolve and you have to change. And that's where LoudCrowd comes in and says, engage your customer base, build ambassador programs, get user generated content, go for that authentic side of kind of, it's like earned social media, right? Grow that. And if you want to keep doing influencers, definitely, but this is the add-on that's going to get you that extra boost that's going to continue to grow the programs that you're trying to run.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Now, how do people learn about LoudCrowd? Like, what's sort of the journey that they take? What are the client acquisition channels you guys leverage?
Ooh, okay, this is a fun one. So I was the first marketing hire at LoudCrowd. So I came in, we have our outbound sales team, but they were like, go forth. The world is your oyster. I focus a lot on finding our target market, and we market to marketers. And so that's hard. You know, I have to go out and use the tricks of the trade on people who understand the tricks of the trade. So we do a lot of events. We have found some really incredible events that are focused on kind of the CMO level or the marketing and social media people at these bigger brands. We make a splash. We may or may not have had somebody dress up in a hot pink gorilla costume and dance around and do some TikToks. We do a ton of, and I say a ton of digital ads. We don't spend that much. I think the most we've ever spent in a month was, I think we average about $5,700 a month. We keep it a tiny budget. It's important with Google Ads that you're day trading keywords, that you're constantly looking at where you can win, what's kind of up and coming. We talk a lot about user generated content, but that's not really a search term people are going after. They're looking at, you know, how do I get more awareness? How do I get more people talking about me on social media? Kind of those different things. And so it's a good balance on figuring out those search terms. And then, I mean, digital ads, we've run things on social, we've run things LinkedIn. We're kind of going, you know, we have a really fun TikTok channel. We're going where our end user is. But it's been events, honestly, podcasts like this have been really incredible. I feel like this is, you know, the new press release. I don't know. This is the way you get your news out. This is how you kind of get in front of people. So podcasts, digital ads, events, that's our big way to kind of get people in the door and be really effective at that side of the house.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, as you're building out sort of the inbound and the traffic, how do you think about the website? Like, what role does the website play sort of in the in your world?
I will tell everyone that marketing's two biggest assets are our database and our website. And we spend so much time optimizing on the website. We are adding or optimizing a page a week. So whether it's stack ranking blog posts and seeing which one is starting to come out ahead and then going back and editing that for kind of those SEO purposes, meta tags in the background, what keywords and search volume we're seeing on the Google Ads side. The website is a constant work in progress. I think we're really proud that we redid our homepage, and then our biggest competitor, who has raised, I don't know, like $200 million compared to us, they copied the homepage. So it's kind of that constant finger on the pulse of the market. But the website is something that you always have to be looking at. It's your entry, it's the gateway. I tell everybody in sales, if you can get people to click on a link and get to our website, I will do the rest. Like, I will create the journey, I will bring them through. But that being said, once again, it's constant work in progress.
Makes sense. Cool. Now we talked a lot about what you guys are doing and how you're thinking about growth and sort of the importance of the journey in itself. I would love to learn a little bit more about yourself as a marketer. I would have some rapid fire questions as we're slowly approaching the end of the interview. Would you be ready for those?
Okay, I'm ready.
So, and they're a bit of a surprise questions, but they're harmless, I would say. What's the last book that you read?
Oh my goodness.
Or the last podcast you listened to, for that matter?
Honestly, the last book was The Inmates Are Running the Asylum,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about product. I think early in my career, I thought, I'm going to read marketing books. I'm going to read how to, be the best at digital, or how to make the best content. And I started to realize what I needed to learn was how the other teams in my company were finding success.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I read this incredible product book, and it just kind of put into perspective how products are made, how we're thinking about those things, which, as a marketer, right, I want to go to the market and then have those discussions as well. So that was a fun one.
Mm-hmm. What is the one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Authenticity in marketing.
Mm-hmm.
To be completely honest, we love when clients connect their account with our software, our platform, and then it pulls up all of these social media posts from their customers, people who have the product, wear the product, eat the product, live the product. Because that's really, marketing is getting muddied and there's a lot going on out there. And so we are really huge on, being real. And I think the coolest part about that are the brands who come to us make killer amazing products, because they know they're about to step into, let's have all of our customers talk about us. So you have to be very confident in what you're doing. And that's been really, really incredible.
Mm-hmm. And for the very last question, I'd like to do a little bit of time travel, right? If you allow, if we go back to the University of Texas at Dallas, right? If you allow for that, you're heading out of formula education into the world of, growth and marketing and business, and you had, very interesting roles throughout your journey. What's the one advice you would give yourself for that journey?
Oh my goodness. Celebrate yourself. I think public education is kind of good at figuring out ways to celebrate our kids and to reward good behaviors and, grades, right? Like getting an A. I was so focused on a 4.0 and like my GPA. And then you get out in the world, and it's kind of like, I'm the person that says I'm doing a really killer good job. I'm the person who's creating my path. And as soon as you kind of understand, I create my path, I own this, I build this, it kind of takes some of the fear away.
Very cool. And for the very last question, I'd like to basically give the last word to you, right? Since we now have been talking a lot about what you guys are doing, and I want people to remember, the most important thing. If people would be forgetting all that we discussed about LoudCrowd today, what's the one thing that they should keep in mind?
Oh my goodness. I just said the authenticity thing. You didn't tell me this question was coming. I mean, have fun, love your job. We just raised our $5 million Series A. We are growing. That's exciting. I love the people that I work with, but it's also always evolving. So everything changes. I learned that, from my first job to now. And that's the fun in marketing. That's the fun in what we're doing. And so, keep your finger on the pulse, get out there, do a TikTok dance. It's fun.
Very cool. Lacey, thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathwing Presents.
Thank you.